everybody, this is a part 2. If you are in the woe is me energy, I'll give you some tips on how to get out of that energy. First thing, whenever anything bad happens to you or you have a bad experience, you take accountability, you acknowledge that you had a role to play in what happened. I'm not talking about when you're a child, I'm talking about from now on. Whenever something goes wrong or things don't go right, you acknowledge that you had a part to play in it. No matter what happens in your life, nothing is ever completely somebody else's fault or up to nature or whatever. So you say, okay, you need to figure out what part you played in it, acknowledge that you made a mistake. And basically you're telling the universe and God or whatever you subscribe to that you are not a victim. You basically acknowledge right away, and acknowledging that you're not a victim is telling yourself, acknowledging what role you play in things. So immediately, if anything ever goes wrong in your life, say your tire breaks, say you get a flat, but you know that your tire light was on or whatever. So you say, okay, well, it maybe if I had acknowledged that my tire warning light was on, then I wouldn't have gotten this flat. You see what I'm saying? So basically, you actively seek what part you played in things. And it's not to say that you're a bad person. It's just to say I'm not a victim. People who acknowledge their part in things, they're not victims. So you have to make it known that you're not a victim. Every situation, look at it from the lens of what part did I play in it? What could I have done differently? That's one way to enforce you're not a victim. Another way to enforce that you're not a victim. Whenever you run into people and they do bad things, again, you acknowledge what part you played in it. Say you dated somebody and they end up cheating on you. Okay, well, there's probably signs that this person has a wandering eye, but you ignored them. So you say, well, this person, I did notice had a wandering eye, or say you talked to their ex and their ex said they were a cheater, but you were like, oh, well, maybe they'll be different with me. So basically, you have to actively seek out what hand you play in things. That's how you tell the universe that you're not a victim. You always look for what hand you played in things and say, oh, okay, well, I did know this or I did notice this, so I'm not a victim. You basically have to keep saying I'm not a victim of anything that happens, right? That's kind of how you work because if you were born in the state of victimhood, or maybe you had a parent and you kind of take after them, it's going to take time and you have to work through it. But basically you just actively seek out, in every situation in your life, seek out what role you played in it, taking accountability. That's how you get out of the state of victimhood. You take accountability in everything. You actively seek what part you played in things, even if it's small. That's how you say, you know what, I'm not a victim. All right, sorry, it's kind of rambling, but that's kind of how you get out of the state of victimhood. You acknowledge what role you play in every part of your life. All right, well, that's part 2. Thanks for watching. Bye.